Hey, what's poppin', y'all? It's Kaleb from Team Tempo, aka Lil Baby K, coming at you with another Voiceless Voice deck profile. This is just an updated version of the one that we just posted, just a couple of changes. So I'm going to kind of go through a couple of the cards pretty quick. So if you're kind of looking for a more in-depth one, go take a look at the last video. So I took this to the Rosemont, Illinois Regional. I took 30th place with it. Ended up going, let's see, it'd be 6-2-1, 9 rounds. There's 350 something players, can't remember exactly. Performed okay. To be honest with you, I think I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'll probably tell you exactly what I changed. But obviously it did perform, so can't be that bad. But we'll start out with the main deck. We do have the 3 low main card. We do have our 3 Saphira. Very nice. Seeing this in your opening hand is always a good card. Feels like you can always play with it, which is really nice. Still the 1 Old Man Saravis. We are still playing 2 Saravis here, 2 Ritual Saravis. I've been thinking about cutting it down to 1, but honestly, it is so nice to have it 2, just for the grind, as well as it is a hand trap that comes up. You know, especially if you just have like a diviner play and they try to impermanent, you can Saravis it. It can be very crucial in those impactful moments, so it's really nice to have it too. I don't think I'd cut it down, but it is optional. And then we are still playing the 2 Skull Guardian, and then we are playing 1 new card, the Pendulum Graph Dragon. So I added this in because the continuous spell is able to get this out a lot more consistently. I was ending most of my boards, maybe not going first, but as soon as they summoned, I would get this out with the continuous spell. So I was ending a lot of my boards with this, and it really does come up. I also, spoiler, played the Odd Eyes extra deck monsters as well. So that actually came up a lot, and that won me a couple of games just by itself. So I think that this is almost a necessity, at least in the side deck, but it is really nice in the main deck. And even its end phase effect in the Pendulum Scale to add itself back and add a ritual spell came up a couple of times as well. So really good card. I'm really happy that I added it. Still on 2 Ritual Spell, still on 3 Barrier, still on 1 Blessing. And we are playing the 1 Trap as well. So pretty standard here for the most part. I don't think I'd want to add more than 1 Blazeling. It does stink when it gets outed some way, just because your grind is a little bit, it suffers a little bit, but most of the time, if that's happening, you're either able to play through it and win, or you're losing already. So still in the 3 Diviner, great normal summon, and the 1 Trios. Still 2 pre-prep. This is definitely something I'm thinking about adding to 3. Similar to the last video, it is something that you don't really want to see of in certain hands, or it turns off a certain amount of plays if you draw like that plus Saphira, but it's just a consistency card. It makes some of your bricky hands unbricky. Sometimes it's just a way to play. Still in the 2 Prosp as well, so those are the consistency cards. This is the Dig. This is really nice if you brick, because you are obviously able to dig for your starter. Otherwise, most of the time I'm trying to set up the full board with the negate and then dig into my deck after, and we're hopefully digging for cards like Branded Fusion, anything else that might help us. And then so I do play the 3 Branded Fusion, the 1 Elbaz, and then we are main decking the Jogging still. This was still, I think, a great idea. It is cuttable, or obviously to the side, but it does feel kind of free sometimes, and it actually won me a lot of matches just by itself, and especially in simplified game states, this card is really hard to get over. We are playing the 1 Magnemite. Still, this is great for when you get shifted. You're able to send this off Branded Fusion and still get into a Mirror Jade. It can search any of the, like the Saphira or the Saravis in the end phase. Decent addition. I did try taking it out, but it does stink under shifter when you don't have a dark option to send. So we're playing the Board Breaker still. We are on the 3 Fenrir here. This card was really good. Just being able to be something that's aggressive, or that can just kind of put tempo on your opponent, as well as replace itself with a 7 in hand, so you can tribute it for Saphira. It's just really good. And then we'll just kind of go to the rest of it, and I'll talk about it after that. So we're playing the 2 Thrusts, 1 Talents. Thrust actually did overperform pretty well in this whole tournament, just in general, especially post side. won me a lot of games. D-Barrier is an insane card, and Talents is awesome as well. Never hurt, it can hurt drawing both of these, obviously, if your opponent doesn't activate an effect, if they don't hand trap you. But when you do draw both of these and they are activating an effect, it just feels so good. It's really hard to lose in that situation. We are playing the 3 Imperm still as well. Imperm probably the best hand trap of the format. It's trap, so it doesn't proc any of the triple tactics cards. It's targeting negation. It's good going first, good going second. So I think it's mandatory in almost every deck list. 42 cards in the main. The changes that I think I would want to make is I think I was really missing a lot of the hand traps. The board breakers were nice, but it did feel really bad going second and not being able to answer them in any way. Obviously, you are able to kind of go into boards a little bit better, but some boards are somewhat unbreakable depending on how you draw. So I was thinking about cutting a lot of the the thrusts and the talents, the Fenrirs, and even I was possibly thinking about the Branded Fusion, but it really did perform really well this regional. So just those things I would think I would cut, and then probably add more hand traps. I was seeing a lot of Ogre play. I think I did miss Ash a lot. I do have Droll on the side, as you'll see, so that was nice, but Nib was definitely another one, especially in this deck. Being able to tribute it for your ritual fodder because it's a light monster is really nice. So those were the changes that I'd probably make, but this is what performed, and we'll see. We'll do some more testing. So we will go to the extra deck now, and in the extra deck we will start out with the Almirage, the Gardna, and the Anima. These are the Link ones. I did the play that's on the channel. We have a short for it, as well as it was in the last deck profile, so check that out. A lot, and it was very nice because I was able to get all the continuous spells and traps out on the field very consistently, as well as the negate with a pendulum graph using this. Obviously, you aren't able to go into this when you are activating Branded Fusion, so just keep that in mind. And Anima came up one time, only one time. I needed to get a special summon low off grave to be able to go into SP to proc the ritual spell effect, or the continuous spell, the ritual effect. So it did come up. I don't think it's very cuttable just to have Link as Link 1. Most people are playing it around it now, but just a nice option to have. One Dynamondo came up once or twice maybe. I think it's definitely fine at 1. It can be very impactful in the right moment. And we are playing the IP into the SP. Mandatory extra deck cards, especially when you don't have a very tight extra deck and you don't get locked besides Branded Fusion. So it just gives you your options, especially Crackback. Onto the fusions, we are playing the 1 Entis. This is for the Herald Send to be able to pop a card. We are playing the Albion, the Lubellion, Mirror Jade, and then the Sanctifier as well. Standard branded package. I was playing 2 Albion before, but I cut that down for some cards that you'll see here. Didn't miss the second one at all. It wasn't necessary in any way, shape, or form. And then we are playing the Odd Eyes cards, so we're playing Meteor Burst as well as the Vortex Dragon. So Vortex Dragon on special can target your opponent's face-up attack position monster, return it to hand. Won me at least one game and probably helped win another game when I was able to get this out. And then this is for the Tenpai Dragon matchup because it says your monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the battle phase. So just turns off all their effects and you're able to get this out for basically free. They just have to activate a spell. Hey guys, Future Kaleb here. Just wanted to add, in order to add one of these 2 Odd Eyes cards, I did have to cut the Herald Synchro, the one that is when it's sent to graveyard searches you a ritual spell. There was one time where I specifically missed it and it would have came up and helped. Otherwise, I didn't miss it at all. So it's just something that I wanted you guys to think of, something that you should consider when you're doing your own deck list. Thanks. The other synchro that I'm playing is Chaos Angel. Nice card to have, especially in a deck or extra deck like this where it's not tight. Just a really nice toolbox card. And then same with Typhon here. I didn't go into Typhon, but it is nice to have in certain situations. That is it for the extra deck, and then we'll go on to the side. So we are playing the 3 Droll. This was Nib for a while. I don't think I missed Nib too much. This did come up once or twice, but most of the time I really wasn't siding it in too often. We are playing the 2 Druid Worm. This is more for like branded to not get Gimmick Puppet locked, good in the mirror. It can be good versus other decks as well. So I did go into it a couple times. And we are playing the 3 Cosmic Cyclone. This was at 2 before, but I think we added it to 3. This was mostly for like runic matchups, especially runic stun. Just being able to have the better chance to be able to draw into 1 was really nice, and this card is always good. Every time it comes up, it's just a really good utility card that can be used in a lot of different situations. And then we have our thrust targets. So we are playing the 1 Duster, the 1 Change of Heart, Herald of the Abyss for the spells. Duster didn't draw into it. I drew into it once, but it actually didn't come up because I had Cosmic and there's only one thing I needed to do. Change of Heart came up once or twice. Herald of the Abyss was for the Pearly matchup. Would have came up one time where I would have been able to actually search it because I drew Thrust, but he was able to summon Black Cat as well, and not White Cat, so this card does nothing because they just send Black Cat. So it ended up going into this card right here, which is Evenly. Still didn't win the matchup, but that's okay. And then we're playing D-Barrier, and those are our thrust targets. And the other trap we play, this is the 14th extra side deck spot. So D-Barrier was insane. This card might have been the best card in the side, and when it was in the main deck, best deck card in the main. It won me a lot of games. This is the last format we're gonna be able to play this card, so you might as well play it. I was thinking about even trying to bump it up to 3 as well, even though it is searchable off of Thrust, just because you want to see this card as much as possible. Anti-Spell was just kind of like the extra card. Well, one of the extra cards, you'll see here in a second why. But did come up a couple of times. Two of the 3 times, I think it got Cosmic right away, so it didn't actually do anything, but almost an auto win versus some decks. And then the 15th card, so this was kind of the meme spot. It's a thrust target, and a lot of my friends told me not to play it, but I think it was just funny. I wasn't able to actually resolve it until there was 1 second left in the last round, and I did it. We were already going to tie, but I did it just to do it. And it was only for 9 as well because I activated Prost, but I still resolved it, so that's kind of cool. So that's it for the side deck. I think it's relatively solid if you're going to play the Thrust package. Obviously, you can cut the Eater Millions if you want to. Anti-Spell is kind of nice with this deck because you're able to place, so it does come up. It is cuttable, though. But it's changeable depending on what you want to do with the deck there for sure. I think Nib is definitely sideable and probably should have been sided, but like I said, I didn't miss it too often. Like I said, I took 30th place, had a really good time. I ended up losing the first round and the third round, so I was X2 after 3 rounds, and most of the time, you know, that's pretty hard to come back from, but it just kind of goes to show that if you keep trying and you keep persevering and playing the best you can, you at least have a chance. So thanks for watching. Make sure you guys check out the other videos that we got going on. We'll have a podcast episode coming out that'll definitely break down the region a lot more if you're interested in listening to that. Yeah, thanks for watching. Let's go, baby.